and hope that it does go to the cloud. Alrighty. Welcome, my loves, and to those of you who watch the replay, we are doing the expression and guidance session today. But because we had our last session was about setting intentions for the year and looking at what we're wanting to bring into our lives, I just wanted to sort of plant some seeds, and you can do with them what you will during the meditation and the artwork. But so I just wanted to come back to like the question for the intention setting of what do I want to transform in my life this year? How can I take one small step towards that vision today? So even just having that as the intention for the artwork, to sit in that space of being present with yourself and allow those things that are the unknown and the potential to come in, whether that comes through as a clear knowing of what that next step is, like, okay, when I get off this call, I'm going to go and do a thing, or I need to make that phone call that I've been putting off, or whatever it is. Or it may just be the next step might just be in the artwork, to do the artwork and then to just let it go and see what unfolds from there. Okay. So I will go through this in the meditation too, I think. But one of the ways that I've found really helpful for me is to use the sort of metaphor of a tree to assist in breaking up, like, even how you see yourself and the things that contribute to your life. So we'll do a bit of a tree visualization. But again, just to prime your minds to consider sort of, if you are the tree and your roots are in the ground, what is it that's grounding you and supporting you? And if your trunk is that, that solid, trunk that holds a tree up, what are your current strengths and resources that you have access to? And then up to your branches, sort of representing that growth potential of where you want to go. Like a tree will lean towards the light, or it'll shy away from things, or it'll bend in the wind. But what are your goals and your dreams for the year? And so there may be even writing at the end, whether you create an artwork that is specifically a tree, you can. Won't be offended if you don't. It's totally up to you what you put into your artwork and what comes through. But yeah, just to have that in the back of the mind, because you may actually even come up with a different metaphor. It might be a different type of plant. You might go, okay, I don't really feel like a tree right now. Maybe I don't have that really solid tree trunk. Maybe I'm, more of like a sapling, or I'm a sunflower. Whatever the metaphor is fine. Okay, so let me just pop some music on and do a little sound checky before we get going. Where are we? Can you hear that music, Steph? Beautiful. Alrighty. So if you're watching the recording, obviously make sure you've got your art supplies, paper and pens and stuff at the ready for when we come out, so you're not sort of getting yourself out of our nice meditative state before you do your artwork. And when you're ready, settling into your seat, feet on the ground if you can, but just in a comfortable seated or laying down position. And just beginning with a few nice deep breaths. just seeing if you can pull each breath into your tummy a little more each time. Allowing your belly to expand out. Like filling a balloon. And just noticing the sensation of your breath as it comes in through your nose or mouth. And allowing your focus to just come fully into your body. Leaving any busyness from your day, just setting it to the outside. And just checking in, scanning through your body and noticing if you're holding any tension, particularly in your jaw, in your shoulders. Relaxing those tummy muscles, those big muscles of your thighs. Really noticing the surface that you're sitting on, all the points of contact that you have with the earth. And feeling the weight of your body. And through those surfaces that your body is in contact with your seat, floor. And as you breathe, imagine that through those points of contact, you begin to slowly grow roots down into the earth. And don't worry if you can't see these in your mind's eye. Just listening and repeating the words in your mind. And these roots grow longer and longer down into the earth. Pushing through the earth with ease, finding their way through, around any rocks, through different layers of the earth. Down into layers of the earth that are millions of years old. Anchoring you in. While they go deep down into the earth, they also spread out sideways in all directions. Reaching out around you in an intricate network of roots. Provide you with stability and support. I wonder if you had to imagine the support networks that you currently have in your life connected to these roots, what would they be? Would you allocate one root or one support? It's a person, a place. Would it be another little sapling growing up from those roots to represent that support? Or would those roots intertwine with the roots of another tree? And also noticing what the ground, the earth in and around the roots is like. What texture does it have? Is it warm and moist? Are there sharp bits of gravel that might represent some challenges? And is there sufficient water, nutrient? Or are there some areas where it's too dry, too barren for the roots to grow healthy and strong? I just invite you, if there's any areas in and around your roots that need some water, nutrients, just to add those now. Seeing all of those roots healthy and thriving. And imagine now being able to pull from all of that beautiful soil all of the goodness needed to rise up and grow up into a tree. Notice the size of the tree trunk, the type of bark, the strength of the timber. As this represents your strengths, your resources. And there's no right or wrong. And as you breathe, imagine still pulling that nutrients up from the earth through your trunk, creating branches that reach out in all directions. Notice the quality of the branches. Notice, is the growth even in all directions? And if there's some areas where the growth is not as healthy as others, just consider for a moment how this might relate to any goals or dreams that are currently laying dormant, a little undernourished, forgotten about. Not worrying about getting into thinking about the steps to make those dreams or goals a reality. Just staying with this metaphor of a tree. And as you breathe, see and feel yourself pulling everything that you need from the ground up through the trunks to feed healthy branches and healthy leaves, and allowing yourself to drop any dead, diseased branches that are not serving your highest good. With healthy leaves and branches, look to the sky, the sun, and open to receiving all of that light, all of that love to every leaf. And see those leaves building and creating and sending that goodness down through the branches into the trunk, helping build the strength and the resilience of the trunk. See the growth rings of the tree increase and grow stronger. And just allowing yourself to observe this tree. Imagine it passing through the next 12 months of time. See it going through the seasons. It may drop some leaves in autumn, preparing for winter. Take some time to rest, to recuperate. For new growth. Where it may stand tall and evergreen, allowing yourself to explore possibilities for growth and change through seeing this tree. Yourself as this tree may have to weather some storms, may receive some damage, but as long as you remain grounded and strong, you can always repair and regrow. Taking a few moments to notice any colors, shapes, symbols, or words that might need to come through into your artwork. You want to remain nice and relaxed. When you're ready, just giving your fingers and toes a gentle wiggle, taking out your paper and art supplies, and begin allowing yourself just to make marks and express whatever's feeling like it needs to come out today, even if it makes no sense to your logical mind. Remembering it's not about creating an artwork to appeal to anybody, it's just about expressing what's there and ready to come up for you. Just making sure that you're still breathing nice and relaxed, not holding any tension in your jaw, your arms, or your hand. Just noticing too how your thoughts about your artwork, if there's any criticism or doubt, any frustration at what you can express with the mediums you have, with your current skills. Noticing and continuing and continuing on with your artwork, just starting to consider what it is that you've drawn and what it represents to you. If there's anything you'd like to share. Anything that you need to share to help you to integrate this artwork today. Anything that you need to write. Just taking a couple more minutes before we'll come back and reflect with Steph and I today. Remembering to date your artwork, and if there's ask yourself or ask your artwork if there's a name or a title that you would give it. Just running back through those questions from before. What grounds and supports you? What are your current strengths and resources? What are your goals and dreams for this year? All right. How are you going, my dear Steffi? A few more minutes. No worries. Well, just for anyone who might be watching this replay while Stephanie finishes off, when we're looking at our artwork at the end, it's really important that we don't come at it as looking at it from an aesthetic view. It's not about creating something for others to look at. This is a tool for your self-reflection. And so there's many, many ways that we can look at artworks, and the guidance that we can get out of that. Just a second, I don't mind. And the art of reflecting on them is to attempt to look at it from a few perspectives, to consider them as possibilities of what it could represent to you, and then to allow that to sort of sit with you. And sometimes you will get a firm, yeah, that's what it means to me, or a, no, that's not what it means. So when we have a big group in these sessions, sometimes we will open it up for people to sort of ask questions about other people's artwork. It is very important that we're not putting our own interpretation on what their artwork means to us, because you will get things out of seeing our artwork. You will actually, you can look at other people's artworks and go, okay, what would that represent to me? We just need to be very careful not to put that onto somebody else, because the power of suggestion can then kind of derail their own sort of reflection, and interpreting of their own artwork. So just to be mindful of, because we will, this group that I'm recording this in, this is our Alchemy Apprentice group, but I will likely post this one into the Expression and the Guidance page, because it's just to share this as a resource for you guys. So it looks like Steph's finished. I'll just turn this music off now so we're not too distracted. And let me get rid of half of my screen. All right. So we'll get Steph to go first. And so, yeah, if this is your first time watching one of these, you'll notice I will always ask what your artwork means to you. Does it make sense? Is it obscure and weird? And are there things in there that are like, I have no idea what this means? I love those ones, because then I get to ask you questions. Steph quite often doesn't need me to do that anymore because she's done so many of these. So what does your artwork mean to you today, Steph?
Okay, well, it's not a proper tree. All right, as you can see, I have elements of trees through this. So it's more of a dissect of how the seed and the process, each element broken down. So the brown part up the top is the actual seed. It's like going into the earth. Yes. The grey part is the seed opening up, cracking. You got stuff coming out, oozing. The bottom part, which is the green element, is the actual roots itself. The orange balls is, you know how sometimes on some of the roots on particular plants, they have round circle clumps, and they interact, and, you know, that's their vitamins or their nutrients that they need. That's like, a part of it.
I love this, Steffi, because I'm a plant nerd. So they have, some plants have, it's like a nitrogen fixing nodules, I think is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So it's like it's interacting with the roots to help it.
Yes. So the red part is the actual twigs itself. So each branch is what way they go and how they define each part, and they can interline. They look like they're together, but they're going off on a tangent, you know. They've got their own mind and space, and the black part is the actual leaves itself and how flowing they can be, and each element has a specific part of a role that they have to play. And then I got my two trunks. At first, I had no freaking idea what I was doing, and I was like, oh yeah, but I actually had the grey part as a vision, and like it came through to me, and the actual seed itself on how I wanted to do it. So the more I kept on playing, I had each element going through my brain, but I didn't know how to put it all out on paper until I started doing this. So yeah.
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 Cool. And that's the thing. I mean, it definitely shows that like you don't have to take the guidance that I give literally. Like you can make it your own interpretation.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So in that, what are the elements that ground and support you?
The whole thing. Like the elements, I think I had to break it down because it's talking about the the chi as well. Like everything has chi. Every living thing has a chi, and we are, the more you dive in and dissect, well, not so much dissect. We are all elements. So the more elements you explore of particular things, the more you can feel, the more you can grow. We are developing on a higher scale, and so the more I am diving into this, the more I can feel in my day-to-day actions, feelings, communication, everything like that. It's coming into play, but I have to focus on each element and how it plays a role in my life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So is there a sense of like what's in that about what your strengths, I guess that's kind of your resources, isn't it? That the more you're learning. So then that
Yes.
new information coming in, that's kind of the resource, isn't it? That strengthens.
Well, that's more at the top. So that's where
Yeah.
the blue comes in. It's like the rain. It's you you wait and you see your growth. So each seed has it gets planted, so you don't know what type of outcome it has. So it might go through so much drought, and then when the rain comes, it flourishes, and then it starts opening up, and
Mm-hmm.
it captures all the vitamins and nutrients it needs, so then it can go to the next step. And then it might be a wind or like this tornado that comes through and rips stuff apart, branches fall down, and you then have to try and work with what's there and what's
Mm.
developing, and how you go by each thing. If
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And having that resilience to just take whatever the experience is and keep going.
Yeah.
Like,
The red part, but I'm feeling very emotional about it. It reminds me of the Chinese writing, and it has more messages in it than what I anticipated for. So I'm actually feeling a wave of relief, enlightenment, and emotional sense, because
mhm.
I have no children with me today, and it's the first time in 12 months, and I'm still processing that
Mhm.
outcome of it. Yeah.
So is there anything, because of, and you may not have an answer to this right now. It may not be clear to you right now because it's literally first day back at school for us.
Yeah.
And Steph's been living on the road, the kids out of school for a whole year. Um, but so is there anything either that's come up in your artwork or the meditation or even just that you're aware of that you have as a goal or a dream that you would like for yourself, for you, Steph, not for your family, not for partner, just for you?
Oh, fucking knew it. I knew this. I had it. Okay. It started last night. I This actual words, deja vu. Fucking hell. Okay, just hang on, let me just oh, okay. Yes, there is a dream and a goal for myself, and that is the more I am showing up for myself each and every day, the more I'm growing, being the person I know I can be without having the beliefs that I was taught, or I have this knowing inside that this is the right path. And the more I'm showing up for myself and putting me first, so that could be in a daily face cleanse, just walking, feeling my pain, um, everything. It's showing up for me that it's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to be vulnerable, to show the world how not so much low, but how much vulnerability you can expand, and then by receiving the gratitude back, and even though we don't have much, I'm giving so much out. And yeah, I know great things are going to happen this year. I can feel it in my bones. Yeah, I'm ready, and the universe knows I'm ready, and yeah, it's definitely going to be a greatness. And I am just very proud of myself for showing up, and I know I'm enough.
Yay, good girl. I love that. So now, just because I decided that I was going to share this on expression guidance, so we might as well really demonstrate how we do this process. I've just done my little Swifty to chuck your artwork into my little program that I can flip it. So one of the ways I said before about like looking at your artwork from different perspectives, and sometimes that can take a little bit of practice. And Steph is well used to this one because we've done this a
Yes.
lot, and she knows what I'm about to do. So when you look at your artwork in that way, that's obviously the orientation that Steph has done this artwork. So what I'm going to do now is firstly flip it
Oh,
completely
shit.
upside down and ask her, does it change how she feels about any of the elements or the picture overall? There you go. She's flipped. She's
Yeah. I'm actually crying. It brought away because I did it like I'm looking at my own picture, and as soon as I
mhm.
flipped it, the elements fully in the divine, which I knew it's coming in. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
It like it obviously it looks different because it's upside down, but it's how like even how it feels different. Like when you look at different elements, are there any there that particularly jump out at you that have changed how they feel from when it's around the other way?
Yeah, the silver.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is it about it that's changed?
It's like a sun. It's the
So
sunflower
it's radiating up
radiating
now instead of
down. Yeah.
yeah.
And the green, it's like a whole heap of love. It's connected to my chakras. I can feel that everything is where it needs to be.
Mhm.
Oh, and a lot of emotion that's ready to come up. Like not sad emotion, but like happy excitement,
Mhm.
unknowing, you're surrendering, you know an element of yourself that is flourishing, and that's the silver part, which is right smack bang in the center. And even though it's a seed and it's starting to blossom, you you're blossoming for the future, for the better.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. I love it. So we'll go another way just because we can. Um, and so this is a way, and you could go through if we had hours, we could go through and keep talking about each element and how it changes for the sake of this, and because Steph has done this so many times, she's quite she's quite quick to go, whoa, okay, that's what I needed right now. What if we flip it sideways?
It's funny because the last minute I stuck these little random bits of orange and I was like, oh yeah, must be a bit of dirt. No, I'm wrong. It's my sacral. It's, I need to, it's like that orangey yellow color that's
Yeah.
my
So
power.
is that these bits are in around here, or the
Yeah,
circles you mean? Yep.
yeah. Those random parts that I
Yeah.
just, yeah, went, oh yeah, you need some of that there and there. Yeah. It's to show the power that I have within that I had to suppress for so long because people were afraid and they wanted me to be down, where now I'm understanding so much more about myself, and I don't need to put myself down or suppress anything a part of me, because the people that need to be around me will be around me
Yeah.
even in my life. So yeah.
Yeah. What about that grey silver one? How does it feel when it's laid on its side?
That one side is receiving goodness. It that silver part doesn't change it does. It just becomes clearer and more what I already knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, and this is so sometimes things like when you rotate them, like if there's any sort of feeling of movement too. So like that's laid over, like see how it almost looks like it's moving horizontally
Yes.
now, whereas when it's that way, it's kind of like a fixed thing that's radiating up. And even when it
Yeah.
was upside down, it's like a fixed thing radiating down. But then when we go either way, and it's
Oh,
kind of like it's what our minds sort of know of, shapes that, whether it's like similar to like a fish moving that way. But it's just a way that I want to demonstrate like how you can look at things differently, like even switching sides to go, okay, well, if that blue is on the right hand side now, and then if I put it on the left, like what does it feel any different if it's moving to the left or the right? And sometimes you'll go, nah, what are you talking about? But sometimes you'll do this flip and you'll be like, oh, I feel completely different about, especially if there's something that is like represented in your artwork of something that's like dark or shadow or trauma or something hard. It's a way to actually shift your perspective of that thing, because sometimes in the first place you'll depict it as something that's quite threatening, but then when you rotate it, all of a sudden it's like, oh, hold on, that element is no longer, doesn't hold the same feeling if it's off to the side or it's at the bottom, because other aspects that you've represented, say yourself, might then feel like that's, more powerful. So it's just, yeah, just a way to play around with what we have. So I will share mine today. So I did a literal tree. It didn't actually have leaves at first. It was just the tree done in pen. Um, but I had this realization as I was doing it. So I did the tree, and then it was yellow coming in, came down, and then it was red. It was all the grounding. And then as I went through, I went, okay, no, it does need leaves and it does need, color in the trunk. But I didn't want the trunk to just be brown, because I wanted to represent like the other chakras and energy centers in there. So there's all the colors of the chakras within this trunk coming up and down. And I was actually a bit reluctant to put brown in it. And I've always had this bit of an aversion to brown. And I think I worked out why today. It's just the grounding side of things, but we feel like it makes it muddy or yucky sometimes. And it's like, but energetically, what I've learned recently is that everything works better if you're grounded. if you're feeling safe and supported. So I actually, through this artwork, I actually made myself add brown in around here as well, down in the earth part. And then I pulled the brown up into each of the branches. And so as I did that, I was like, ah, yes, because each of the chakras, all the way up to the crown has to be grounded in order to really use, its potential for creating a good life. Sometimes what happens is that people will work on these upper chakras, open their third eye, even, partaking in psychedelics and things like that, that open your crown. And then it becomes a traumatic experience because they're not grounded. So for whatever reason, that's what that's what came through today. And I quite often get sort of like free form poetry that comes through with these things, or just things that I write. So this one is called Grounded in Wisdom, which came through when I described going down into the earth, down through all the layers, like through millions of years. I was like, that's a lot of wisdom down there in that earth's, crust. So I've written, this earth is here for me as I am here for it. I am rooted in all these earthly experiences. I am like the tree. I am connected to all plants and animals. I am a creator. I am love. And then when I was reflecting on sort of, what grounds and supports me now, it was my family and friends and nature. In the trunk part of it, of the strengths and resources, was compassion, my intuition, my networks of people, locally and globally. And then the goals and dreams for the year, I was like, I didn't want to name a specific thing because I'm learning to be less attached to what my thinking brain comes up with as what I want, because I've had a very anxious life so far, getting caught up in, what the brain can think it needs in the future. So I was like, no, I just want to surrender. And then it was like, surrender into what? And I was like, just abundance. I just want to surrender into abundance. So that may be just an abundance of time with friends and family. It may actually be money. It may be, really fulfilling work that I'm doing. It doesn't have to always be about money. And that's just a process of allowing what needs to be created and communicated through me to flow freely. That's all I want. Just to allow things to flow through me freely, to just put out to the world when I feel called to, and retreat and hide when I need to, cut a limb off if I need to. So, no, that one's not growing the way that I intended. Let's just lop that one off. Because we really do have that amount of freedom. Like, we might say, all right, I feel like I'm an oak tree today. And it's like, yeah, but sometimes the branch that grows off may not actually be like an oak tree. It might be more like a willow. That's okay. Your tree doesn't have to be one specific type. You can be a, grafted, mixed up tree, and you can prune it, feed it, pick it up, move it if you need to. Be one of those walking trees that just relocates itself when it needs to.
Mm.
But yeah, alrighty. So I will finish this recording here. If you're watching it either in the Alchemy group or Express Your Inner Guidance, and you would like to share your artwork, you can post the artwork to the Express Your Inner Guidance page. If you're feeling prepared to, it's a lovely group. No one's going to be critical. And if they are, I will remove them. You are welcome to send it to me specifically if you're like, I don't even know what this means. Sarah, can you help guide me? It's literally my favorite thing to do, is to help ask questions so that you can get the guidance out of this process. because this is one of my favorite processes to do. So thank you very much, my beautiful Steffi, for sharing.
You're welcome.
And
Anytime.
thank you, anyone who watches, share it around. Much love.